this program originated from Siaya. And I want to thank the First Lady of Siaya for taking it and running away with it and strengthening it and making it work. Forget about that. Let me start mine. But this affects the opportunity accordingly to proceed to the next session. More can you come?
Thank you, Bwana CEO. Thank you for that. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to also say that our session here today will be moderated by who is also our host here today, Opere Martin, Waziri Martin Opere. We also have the panel moderators
that I know, and we are glad that we are here together to be from Interfaith, and we'll have the Right Reverend Professor going to flow. So allow
His Excellency the Governor, all the chief officers present, an honor to stand before you as the convener that allowed us as partners to come together, share not only a vision, but the age of human development, the development that we have, and early learning courses. We all know that these courses, interventions are therefore key in long-term well-being, therefore strengthening maternal health, care, prevention of infection. We know that we can do something. The number one killer section. Through implementations that we all maternity units having a functional newborn unit of newborn deaths. The second one is what we call. The next is the contributes up to 9%. We started piloting this. We have been able now to move to early. It is anchored on evidence. So we did a publication. The counties are already having their own best practices that we might borrow and scale up in the other regions of this nation. The LREP, and we have seen this working here in the multi-sectoral lens. It is not a health issue, it's not an education issue, it cuts across all the sectors: education, health, agriculture, water, land, trade, name it, everybody. And this also ensures that secure nutrition in the program. Further to the components of mobilization at the local level to ensure they survive, thrive, to the sustainable approach, to the implementation of nature that is coordinated through the county. We need the program team approach and coordination. Thank you very much, because we continuously education and policy implementation at all levels. There's one thing, nurturing care for early childhood development. We have seen policies and level engagement for increased uptake of forums like this.
Thank you. Driven, county-led, as per CODIA, the National ECD Faith to say Bwana Sefiri. Our strategy, not from my head. Our strategy, not from my head. When that's where you belong. She came, well, you will realize at the family level, you must be touching that quarreling with the wife flout outside my mother, who is there's I want of corruption. But if you look at still small, being from the mother has, are you getting me? Please, some anger, some frustrations, and the child calls back. Fathers, I'm telling the child, you are really happy, whereby they are not available. 1 month paternity. Just say, Daddy, you have discovered that I had a rare gift that she may detect that the child is sick. Things we do for policy, that is spiritual. Things that we national and county governments be found somewhere else. Medical facilities. Also malnutrition. For new nutrition. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Under the initiative for what works of preschool tour. We had therefore, learning. Those are the two things we are looking. The impact of the preschool. Move up. One is childcare. Problem number two was on the rain meters to about 700 meters above sea level. The last one there, you can see that to our kids here. Other thing is bad. If they do, when we did the women livelihoods, of course we did reading the report. Anasema wacha kae tu to a class from the Kenya National Bureau, and therefore the children are learning in PP1. Class. We are then to assessing the potential or what the effect of the experiment of the children. Most women have not gone to school. I'm not sure about the sort of meaning on how the mother. They have that child, they are not fitting at the child in the environment. You look at the orange bar, that there was some was not very nice, but you can see development, you have seen, just go down, something.
So I think this
Good afternoon again. Which we call Nyadhieri. Now, I am here to governors of the Lake region, as a region and as the first spouses of the Lake region. And we touch the soft spots, the parts that they will use and the children, programs that also target food security. So allow me to just read my speech now that I have given you a preamble of who we are. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate the organizers of this event at the 2025 Devolution Conference. I also acknowledge you for your presence here today and participation in the various events organized. This year's Devolution Conference calls on us to leverage the available platforms at the county and national levels to strengthen structure, devolution as a catalyst for equity, inclusion, and social justice. Specifically, we are called towards re-engineering county governments to accelerate with a goal to examine the role of devolution in the realization of equity, inclusion, and social justice. In a bid to complement the country's efforts towards devolution and to buttress county government efforts in addressing socio-economic issues, the Lake Region Economic Bloc First Spouses Association, LFISPA, was created in 2022 Development Goals. Number two, benefit the community, especially on economic empowerment and rights of vulnerable members of the community. Pregnancies, new HIV infections, then know that you're a rapist. And number two, the men only counties. Awareness was heightened across the 14 member counties through our slogan, Woman, Word of Mouth Advocacy Network. All of us can use our mouths to go for screening. Word of Mouth Advocacy Network. You tell your neighbor, have you gone for your cervical cancer check? You tell the person in the office, have you gone for your cervical cancer check? Why do we do money to do those things? But we have mouths and we have the platform. Like today, I have the platform. So I will ask you, have you taken your mother, if you're a man, your sister or your wife to have herself checked for cervical cancer? Or if you have you told your mother, have you taken your child for the HPV vaccination? That is what we are good at, advocacy. The third thing that we do is women empowerment, in which the association, together with the LREP leadership, has embarked on the supporting of women groups with creation of botanical gardens and fruit. In the last summit for the governance of the Lake Region Economic Bloc, we asked to be given 5 is going to serve our communities very well. And the last, and state actors to catalyze and strengthen efforts, ensure sustainable. These interventions have partnerships with police, prison, and judiciary in adolescent and child matters, and for the court users committee and launch of the SGBV court. And thank you to Betty, we have an SGBV court in Siaya. I think all of you heard about the grandfathers of Siaya. Anybody heard about the grandfathers of Siaya? None of them did. With their grandchildren. Did you hear that? Touches specifically on issues of good health, adequate nutrition, safety and security, opportunities for early learning, and responsive care giving. As LREP first spouses, we have been very fortunate as a team to move together, to have a number of platforms. Consequently, we have used these opportunities as drivers, nurturing care for early childhood development, and other factors that affect its implementations. These include child abuse and exploitation, child marriages, child labor, of children in humanitarian emergencies. In promoting nurturing care for early childhood development, we have sensitized our local communities, including championing for policy development across the counties. We have raised awareness on mental health, since parental stress hampers responsive caregiving. We have supported multi-sector approach to nurturing care and supported its launch as having all sectors promoting it: Kakamega, Vihiga, Homa Bay, Bomet, Bungoma, and we are planning to go to Kericho and Trans Nzoia. We have also facilitated other county-specific programs that align with nurturing care. For example, school feeding programs that have been successfully launched in Busia, in Siaya, in Nyamira, in Migori, Smart Start Siaya, where all of us are coping from, Ready Children for Ready Schools in Bungoma, Smart Start Initiative in all other LREP counties, Happy Feet in Nyamira, breastfeeding booths in Kisumu, back to school for teen mothers in Kakamega, and all of us have kitchen gardens to address food security. Now, then what do we do if we have done all this? We would want this also to be replicated in all the other counties. We hope that what is being done in the Lake region can also be taken up by the other blocks, and the partners here can help us actually support the other first ladies, because they ask us, how do you do it? Why do you move without us? Yet this is one country, we would want to move together. Number two, we would want to ask the partners in here and all well-wishers to support the first ladies of this region to finish up with the botanical gardens, so that we can be able to get medicine for our children, empower our women so that they have some little money to take care of their children. And lastly, to continue educating the communities on nurturing care, on how to take care of a mother when she is expectant. Thank you very much, Professor, the Bishop, for talking about men taking, leave. How are you going to enforce it? So the men, please enforce it by yourself. If you're given leave, kindly stay at home and take care of the child. And number three, for me, men are the drivers of change in this country, because you are the ones who keep our customs. If you say today that actually we are going to ensure that every child who is born in this county, in this country, is healthy, is well protected, has good nutrition, has had all the things that nurturing care advocates for, it will be done. So I am calling on the men of this region to take up the responsibility and support us as we continue to advocate for this. Thank you very much, and may the Lord bless you.
Thank you very much. So, can we get another round of applause, please? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to invite the CEO, our brother, Mr. Victor Nyagaya, to come and usher in the governor.
Thank you very much. Just thank the previous speakers, and also to let the crowd, but without that menstrual hygiene, you would not be seated here. You had better wake up to the reality that that is the root, champion that, and it's done it pretty well. Finally, I want to say that, like Mama said, in Kericho, we made a resolution, and incidentally, Mama Rachel Ruto was the guest of honor, that you don't, because menstrual, it is throughout. So we need a policy to ensure that government and our institutions that are responsible for providing menstrual hygiene towels, sanitary towels, do it throughout the year, because these things are done throughout the year. With those few remarks, I want to take this opportunity to invite Excellency James Agre Orengo, the Governor of Siaya. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm speaking after my bishop has spoken. It puts me in a very dangerous situation. But can I be granted, excuse in case I slip? Thank you so much, Professor Kodia, for being here. I want to thank the First Ladies, led by their able chair, Dr. Emily Nyaribo, Dr. Agnes Uchilo, and Betty Murungi, Lorenzo, and of course you've been joined by Rachel Charlene Ruto. I've been with your mother in many functions, but not you for the past time. And I'm glad you are here in this particular function. I'm wearing two hats as I speak here. First, as Governor of Siaya, I was going to attend as Governor of Siaya and a member of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. But also, our chair is not here. Professor Nyang Nyongo is the chair of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. He is in another side event, equally important. So as I stand here, all the things that I should have said about here have been said by other speakers. I hope that those who will come later may mention anything left behind, left without being spoken. But I want to thank in a very particular way Dr. Monica Ogutu. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the work, wonderful work you have done, not just in Siaya, but more particularly in the Lake Region Economic Bloc. And you have taken this message to the Council of Governors. And you remember in Mombasa, we have a meeting of governors, those who are ready and willing to attend. I think they went there with an appropriate message. Thank you, and don't tire. And of course, I thank the other partners who are here. Through you, sometimes I'm excited when I hear one of our people who is required to go to Brazzaville in Congo, in Dar es Salaam, and of course the Mozambicans who came to Siaya. And more importantly is the subject we are dealing with is about our children. If you don't give them a smart start in life, then society is condemned. The beginning of life, as spelled out in our constitution, the beginning of our life starts with that age from conception, not from the moment you're born on the roadside like the bishop. And by the way, what the bishop was telling us is a story because he could not have known what was happening. Yeah, but he was already a human being. So the first 3, 4, 5 years, all of us in our lives, the characters that we have, that formation started right at conception, but more particularly after you have been born and you start engaging with the family, with parents, and with the community at large. So this is a responsibility that we cannot run away as a people, as a state, as the Republic of Kenya, because those who we bring up depend on how we start with them at the time when they're born. So I'm very excited about this event, and let's continue walking this path together. So allow me now to read the official statement from the blog. Victor Nyagaya, you've been very, very robust in your leadership. This gentleman has taken us all the way to India to discuss other things beyond early childhood development. And in India, I don't know whether they're doing the right thing because they're now the most populous country in the world. And I don't know why Kenya is rated in that. Now, this is the official statement from LREP, from our chair, Professor Ajahn Nyong. And we begin by acknowledging the progress that the national and county governments have made in education, health, and social protection. The county governments draw from Schedule 4 of the County Government Act and implements the early childhood development, which is popularly known as ECD. Through the county assemblies, we have undertaken legislative and policy reviews to ensure that our laws and regulations on education align with the Charter and internationally accepted standards. From our county integrated development plans, CIDPs, and other planning documents, we have taken deliberate measures and increased the budget allocated for education to enhance access and quality. LREP ECD program, dubbed the Smart Start Initiative, ensures optimal brain development of the child for the first 1,000 days through nurturing care for early childhood development. And it's no wonder that in the spirit of this initiative, nearly in all the elder counties, school feeding program is now a fact of life, nearly all of them. Since devolution, counties of LREP have implemented a number of initiatives promoting nurturing care for early childhood development, and they include the following. Number one, formation of multi-sectoral teams or the technical working groups drawn from all departments of the county government and including national government as the case requires. This progress has also enhanced collaboration and coordination of all the implementing partners in the ECD space. A process that has worked very well in Siaya County and adopted by eight member counties of LREP. These are the counties of Bomet, Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Nyamira, Kisumu, and Homa Bay. Second is drawing and aligning the scheme of services that ensures ECD teachers are motivated and are well taken care of. Since then, enrollment has significantly increased and quality is assured. 3, development of country-specific policies and support effective implementation of ECDs. Finally, number 4, in collaboration with the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology, KMET, and PATH, we have developed a crucial curriculum for policy makers on the integration of nurturing care for early childhood development in all government sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all aware that despite this milestone in Kenya, and this region in particular, our children still face challenges stemming from structural and political tenets. Structurally, policy settings often limit investment in children's welfare, and politically, each administration often maintains the status quo, providing little attention to the plight of children. So as we convene here today, I encourage all of us to think about how we can replicate and scale the successes we share. Please use this time to develop the connections that will ensure when the next fundraising opportunity arises, you know who to collaborate with and to secure the funds needed to support our collective efforts in advancing child care. However, we must also address ongoing challenges such as poverty, lack of access to quality education, health issues, and child labor. Global issues like climate change, pandemics, and conflicts significantly impact children. The general objective is to take stock of the progress achieved and identify challenges concerning the realization of the optimal development of children in general. Going forward, we would like to urge all stakeholders, and most particularly the LREP members counties, to first conduct member county assessments and take legislative, administrative, and budgetary and judicial measures to promote investment in nurturing care for early childhood development. Second, mobilize partnerships among stakeholders to ensure a more effective, equitable, and inclusive implementation of ECD, and that to be done effectively. And finally, provide proper policy guidance and create platforms to share capacity and experience among stakeholders on the implementation of ECD. Ladies and gentlemen, we urge governments, NGOs, communities, and individuals to take concrete steps toward improving the lives of all children, specifically in Kenya and the Lake Region Economic Bloc. While much has been done to support the policy agenda, more is needed to effectively implement these policies and create an impact, especially through deliberate investment in education and healthcare. As we continue advocating for changes in the ECD space, I acknowledge that education is an equalizer, crucial for breaking the cycle of poverty and empowering children. Our hope is that we implement policies ensuring all children have access to quality education, including children and marginalized groups. Our other concerns are strategies that empower youth. It is vital to involve children and youth in decision-making processes. Encourage programs that foster leadership skills and provide platforms for children to voice their opinions. Additionally, community and family involvement is important in fostering responsive caregiving. Communities and families play a critical role in nurturing and protecting children. Advocate for community-driven initiatives that support children's well-being and development. As we conclude, we want to appreciate all the effort of all the implementing partners in the ECD space. You have exceeded expectation in complementing government strategies. I would also like to appreciate the organizers of this event, as coordinated by the Lake Region Economic Bloc Secretariat. Special mention to KMET, PATH, ADS or ARTS, Nyanza CRS, RCS, EIDU, the Luala community, for their unwavering support for the initiatives at the Lake Region Economic Bloc in the child space. We reaffirm our commitment to this cause and express hope for the brighter future for all children. Let us all work together to create a safe, healthy, and empowering environment for all children. In the spirit of unity, hope, and determination, let us make a lasting impact in the life of the child. Let us reach the last child in every village. And to add to this debate as to whether men should get 1 month, I think the debate will never really end until the men decide that it is not a law, it's not a regulation, but is a need and a requirement. And you're commanded from the bishop who talked about it. Thank you very much, and for giving me this opportunity to represent the views of the bloc through the speech by Professor Nyamiomo. And I particularly am honored because I am the patron of the education pillar in the bloc. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for that delivery. I want to welcome Honorable Opere, the CC member, Education of the County, for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Tobias, for running that session. Your Excellency, the Governor of Siaya, Senior Counsel James Agri Orengo, the First Lady is present. The Chair of the First Lady will recognize you. Our earlier speakers, that was well done. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
God is good all the time. Your Excellency, in the interest of time, I would like to inform the team that we want to move directly to the panelists. And before we do that, we want to inform all of you that after the panelists, we'll read a communique so that our key, the people that give us key address may be able to assent to it, and then we'll proceed depending on time. We are told that there are some critical activity that are likely to come in between, and so those that will be coming in after this, please keep Education Pillar Committee Dr. Edgar Otumba, who is also going to be the moderator for the panelists. Welcome, Dr. Otumba.
Thank you, Wazir. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. There's a very critical activity that I've been informed that is coming after this. But I think the child comes first. So that critical activity will happen after we have finished. Allow me to invite my panelists. I call them one by one and they can take their seats on the podium. Our first panelist is Evelyn Ododa. I'm trying to look around for the second one. Evelyn Ododa is the CEO. Executive Director, ICS. Then we have Waziri Betty Napoli, CCM Education, Busia. Samuel Umundi, Executive Director, ADS Nyanza, Sam. Karibu. James Adede, Grants Manager, Child Fund. And then one day Stephen is the Director of Medical Services. Thank you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panelists, and we have 30 minutes. So 30 divided by 6 is exactly 5 minutes for each of you. Agreed? So once we have agreed that it's 5 minutes each, and then we have an extra panelist, the time reduces to 4.5 minutes. So I'm going to start with Madam Beatrice Ugutu. Where's the microphone? Beatrice, in 4.5 minutes, please share with us your approaches in promoting the development of a child from a family and society lens, and what strategies have you used in promoting the same?
Thank you so much for the question, Your Excellencies, our First Ladies, the CEO of LREP. We thank God for this opportunity that we've been given to share. So one of the things that we really applaud, that we have moved from a moment where we are advocating for why ECD is an important investment, because all of us know it is an important investment, and it took us quite a long time to get there. In addition to the infrastructure and the services that have been put across in our various counties, one of the main systems of care, sorry about that, is the caregivers themselves, the parents that we are talking about. And in our experience in Kakamega, in Kisumu, in Nyamira, we're experiencing quite a number of different formations of families. And we know for early childhood care and development, for children to thrive, they need safe, stable, and nurturing environments. So what are we encountering? Grandparents taking care of young children because the young people have gone away for work or are engaged in other behaviors. we are experiencing a lot of adolescent motherhood, and that comes with its own various risks. We are experiencing blended families. I come with my child, you come with your child, we get a child of our own. We are experiencing polygamous families. So all these family formations come with a lot of issues that need to be addressed when we are talking about nurturing care. The previous speakers have talked about parental well-being. If parents are stressed, they are depressed, it doesn't matter how well our services are, because they will not be able to access those services. So what kind of solutions are we advocating for? In addition to health and nutrition, understandably they've been the biggest investments in nurturing care, we are looking at responsive caregiving and opportunities for early learning, and we're looking at integrated services that add parental capacity, parental support, so that parents can be in a good space to take care of their children. We've seen scenarios where health and nutrition is provided in our various services in the counties, but if a parent is experiencing stress at home, they're experiencing intimate partner violence, or are struggling with resources, they might not be able. So we are advocating for an expansion of parental and caregiving, the well-being of parents to be taken care of. And when we are talking about parents, I'm really glad that male engagement has also been promoted, because we are also seeing something that is becoming normalized, that as a community we should be able to shun away from, the baby mama syndrome. That I give birth to my young child and I don't care where the father is, but the father is supposed to take care of that child. So these different family formations did different kinds of sensitive access to services, noting that our categories of parents and caregivers, and all of them are going through various forms of stress, and if they are doing so, then they are not able to get the right support to be able to provide nurturing care for their children. The other aspect that we are looking at is the prevention angle. We know adolescent motherhood is one of the biggest challenges we're experiencing. It's a greatest risk to early childhood care and development. So as we are thinking about ECD from an education lens, from a health lens, how about we also expand it to address the social norms that allow our young girls to be able to get children early? Because prevention in itself can enable us avoid many of the struggles that we are having right now in terms of access to care, and therefore the young parents from age 13 should be supported to be able to do that as well. The other issue that we really want to promote is equal opportunities for young children, both boys and girls. So we are talking about gender transformative parenting programs that empower and equip parents to raise boys and girls from an equal perspective, that all of them can access education, can play, can thrive, and therefore when parents are supported with the right capacity, when there are services that support the well-being of parents so that they can be able to manage the stress and the other struggles of life, then they can be supported. So what are we talking about in practical terms at county level, and what we are also trying in Kakamega County? An integrated service model, where in addition to health and nutrition, parental well-being is a core component, can be provided for by the community health workers, but also by social workers employed by the county. In addition to those service points, there are home visitations that our community health promoters also deliver within our communities. So beyond the health interventions, how can we equip our community health workforce, our social wealth workforce, to be able to provide these integrated services, so that then we can catch families where they are, and noting that these families come in different combinations with different challenges. So those are the aspects that I would want to promote in my 4.5 minutes. But parental stress, I really want to stress this. Male well-being of parents is very critical for nurturing care. Parents who are not supported to deal with stress, anxiety, intimate partner violence, and other.
Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Beatrice. Allow me to pose another question to Madam Charlene, CEO of SMARCS Foundation. From your perspective, what systematic measures do you think county government should put in place to promote inclusivity and also to adopt a whole of government approach in implementation of nurturing care? 4.5 minutes.
Thank you for the heavily loaded question, which I'll try to attack in 4.5 minutes because it has various components to it. When we talk about systemic measures, I believe policy plays a big part in this, and we've just adopted the Persons with Disabilities Act 2025, which is actually a very strong move in regards to this. The second point of this question is about county governments. My question is, how are county governments adopting and implementing the Persons with Disabilities Act? Where does this sit within the structure of a county government? Who is the CEC or the CEO? Who is in charge of this so that they can push forward what we need to do with our persons with disability? And to promote inclusivity. Yesterday when I was sent the poster for this panel, I posted it on my WhatsApp status, and one of our MCAs who is disabled from Kirinyaga County gave me a message to give the people in this room that actually when it comes to early childhood development education, we have completely ignored our young persons with disabilities. For example, because I work very closely with the deaf community, a young deaf person only gets to go to school at the age of 7 years. This is something that is very worrying, because something that we forget is from when we stay at home from 0 to 3, we're actually developing language. That is where we learn to speak. We're engaging with our parents, if somebody has siblings, with other members of the community. But for a young deaf person, when they start school at 7, they have to begin by learning the language. So this becomes very difficult for them, and that is why ECDE are along that, let me call it a value chain. Because the best way for a deaf young person to learn is from a deaf learned person. Or a young blind person to learn is from somebody who has walked that journey, who would be a blind teacher. So again, how have we incorporated the teachers and the learnings? And even from the presentation of Daktari, which was very good about the case study they are doing in Tharaka Nithi, there was no inclusion of young persons with disabilities there. So the first step of promoting inclusivity begins in this room and our awareness that young persons with disabilities, blind, deaf, those dealing with physical disability, they actually have not yet been given that space, in as much as we have signed in something into law. And the first statement of the law indicates that we outlaw any discrimination to people with disability in regards to education, employment, and health. So I believe that is how we can adopt a whole of government approach, by having that intergovernmental action happening together so that we can implement nurturing care for early childhood development. And my biggest belief, a part of early childhood development sits with how we do our food and nutrition security. When I have walked across the country to various counties, we quickly realized that our young people, first of all, have no interest or no understanding in where their food comes from, especially young people in urban areas. I've seen many times they think that food comes from a supermarket or it comes from Marikiti. Knowing that food actually comes from our farms is a strength that the Lake Region Economic Bloc have, because I've met young people in this region and I've seen the Azolla farming they are doing, the fish farming they are doing, and using that platform to explain to even the younger people in schools and having centers there where young people can see, where does my food come from? What is a balanced diet? How do I create that for myself? I believe looking at it holistically from different sectors, be it agriculture, and what my sister earlier has mentioned about parental care, can really help and support in nurturing care for early childhood development. I believe I've met my time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I'm guided that there is a brief interlude. When I see you.
Sorry for that. We have a small interlude of gifting our chief guest, who must be in another session, so that we can then proceed. We will have no other interruption. Your Excellency.
lifting His Excellency the Governor, who was our chief guest today. And we thank him for the good words and the encouragement in our nurturing care. As the Governor leaves, there is a debate ongoing in this room about male involvement in nurturing care. So allow me to invite Sam, who works for the Anglican Development Services. And Sam is going to tell us about male involvement in responsive caregiving. Do we also need 1 month for caregiving or 2 months?
Thank you very much, Edgar. Your Excellencies, First Ladies, and all participants in the room, thank you for this opportunity to be part of this important forum. At ADS Nyanza, which is the Anglican Development Services, a development arm of the Anglican Church in Kenya, we implement integrated development services in the 6 counties of Nyanza region, including Vihiga and also Samburu. We envision an empowered and dignified humanity. Like the rest, we believe in investing in early learning through intervention that lead to responsive care, livelihoods, nutrition, maternal child health, child security. Now, we are grappling with the issue of male engagement or involvement because this is one of the important missing links, as have been alluded to by the previous speakers. And in doing so, I would say that it has been both interesting and also very challenging to bring male on board. So what are the challenges that we have faced? And maybe at a later time I'll talk about challenges. Is places caregiving role right at the doorstep or in the hands of the female gender. And therefore both men and women, both men and females, inhibit men from playing that role. And here the mothers-in-laws are the biggest culprits. I don't know whether we have them in this room. Mothers-in-laws, are you there? You will agree with me that a mother-in-law will not tolerate if his son is playing these roles. Maybe he's seen to be taking the child to the clinic or even taking part in the household chores in order to save time for the wife. So these cultural barriers is quite a big problem. And these are enforced right from childhood. We see it in the way we even gift the children. Males are gifted with different toys, and females are also different with different toys that kind of reinforce the future roles that they'll be expected to play. Secondly, alongside the cultural barriers, we also have stereotypes where men are prohibited from carrying, for example, children who are young enough, because there are these stereotypes that if a man carries his child who is still young, a toddler, he'll perhaps lose his manhood. And you'll agree with me that there's nothing men fear like something challenging their manhood. So they kind of try to shy away from these roles because of such stereotypes. The second barrier that we have realized and we have lived as an experience is that males are not aware of the key benefits of their involvement. This awareness surrounds the benefits that go direct to the child, the benefits to the female partner, and the benefits to themselves. And therefore, they don't feel compelled to play an active role in this manner. The third and the last in terms of these challenges is the occupational barriers, whereby men are the breadwinners. And in their schedule for looking for bread, they leave the house in the morning and perhaps come very late in the evening. So the idea of creating time to be with the child is a big challenge, because sometimes they come back home when they're very tired and exhausted. So as we will mention later, we have moved away from the idea of asking men to create time to the idea of asking them to fit the children within their schedule in order to make it work. So the interesting bit is the fact that we have realized some changes when we try to bring men on board, because we've realized that men develop certain interest when they become aware of these benefits. The benefits to the child, the faster growth and development of the child, better resilience in the children, better labor outcomes, and also improved mental health and well-being. And once they become aware of these benefits, we have noticed that there's an increased interest in the men playing a role in this manner. Secondly, we have used what we call male champions. Within the communities, we have certain males whose behavior have changed. And what comes out is that in as much as these cultural beliefs are there and they are being shunned by fellow men, quietly they admire these men whose behavior has changed, and they are playing a very active role in responsive caregiving to their children. So we have used such male champions to speak to the other men within male spaces to discuss. And this has brought some positive changes in terms of increasing the participation of the male. Two, we encourage the use of faith leaders. We just heard our bishop talk about certain interventions that would help bring male on board. So these are trusted people. The community trusts them, and their word is taken as the right one. So we have used these faith leaders to bring some positive messages around biblical texts, Quranic texts, or even the ones that come from other faiths. And because they are trusted, when they speak to these men, we have realized that their word is taken as a positive one. And therefore, from that end also, we have seen some very good changes coming. Now, as an organization and through the faith leaders, we have come up with what we call the Babahood Manual. And therefore, this Babahood Manual, we use it to train or to create awareness to the males in the male-only spaces. The male-only spaces exist everywhere. In the Anglican Church, for example, we have the Kenya Anglican Men's Association. I believe in other faiths also we have men's associations where we have gone with this manual, trained them, and we see a lot of change of attitude. Now, I also mentioned that the idea of asking men to create time is neither here nor there. So we encourage men to fit their activities, their schedules, so that the children can fit within. For example, even if it is a simple activity of, for example, going to water a vegetable garden, when the man is watering the vegetable garden, he is encouraged to bring along the child, to be given also a small water can, which the child uses also to water the plants. And from that, conversations begin. The child and the father begins to interact. And the father begins to interpret to the child the relationship between the water and the growth of food. and the child comes up as a strong person who will live to his full potential when he grows up. Lastly, I would say that these strategies are highly replicable, and we encourage every other member who is present here to go back home and try some of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. I would wish to request that as you leave here, you give us a soft copy of the Babahood Manual so that all the men here can have a look. Madam Beatrice Naholi, Chief Whip, Education Caucus. We are here on a learning spree, so please give us your experience in Busia.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. And I really want to appreciate this opportunity. Before I give you experience, allow me to appreciate our partners. I know KMED talks about Siaya, but KMED is the reason maybe Busia is where we are. Because when it's the first time I heard about the nurturing care, I was a CC Health and it was from KMED. And I was like, wow, so there's something called the first 1,000 days, which I never did when I was getting my babies. So my grandchildren have to go through that. Anyway, that's what I like not. So thank you, KMED. Thank you for working with us. Thank you, World Vision. You have a very robust Bogo Bigo about nurturing care. We have UNICEF that has been training our culture campaigners. We have here Child Fund also working with us. So I think for us, even as I share experience, I think I want to credit our partners, our leadership, our governors, our first ladies. Thank you for training the governors, because the first time governor came from Mombasa after they came in training, he was really upbeat about this 1,000 days. And he was asking me, how come I'm the last person to know this good news? And so really, we really want to appreciate what you've done for counties. And so in Busia now, that made us realize that even as education sector, it wasn't just about the ECDE. You know, we were used to this being an ECD thing. It's about ECD. ECD is the centers, the learning. And so we realized that there's more to it. It's not just about the structures. It's more about that child coming to us. And so when we received very sad news when our governor took over and our data was reading very badly matters nutrition, our staff, we know we were like, yeah, the first 1,000 days could have gone for these ones in school, but then there's something we can do. And so in Busia, we began a school feeding program. And I think courtesy of what you have done in the multi-level approach that you came with to the county, our school feeding program took that approach. It was a multi-sectoral approach. And then we began realizing that actually through the school feeding program, it's a place where nurturing care is being harnessed from all departments. And so from all the pillars, I'll just go straight because there's so much we have done apart from teachers on ECD on permanent vegetable times, furnishing our classes. Now we have an RRI where for the first time Busia County, in the last financial year, we did disburse bursaries when that was announced. All that money has gone into ECD classes construction. And for the first time we have an RRI, we put up over 100 classes. So in the next, so that is one thing that happened because of realizing that when Governor came, he realized it's not just about that child, it's more about the environment. And so I'll just maybe clear, and just through the school feeding program, how then have we nurtured the nurturing care framework? How has it come into play? And I will find that under adequate nutrition, of course, we are feeding over 45,000 learners in ECD centers with a hot nutritious meal. It's a homegrown solution where we buy the rice from the farmers in Budalangi. We have rice, green rice. So we buy the rice in Budalangi. The parents contribute the pulses, they contribute the beans. And then, of course, the county government provides also the oil and the cooking and the salt. So that is a homegrown solution. So what means that, so the learners are being fed on adequate nutrition. Again, what you're also doing with that is that they also have porridge, and that's purely a parent's contribution, the porridge. All the learners have porridge. Now, the school feeding, the meal is twice a week. Yeah? And in good health, the community health promoters, the Department of Health, when it comes to matters of good health, have been really involved. Now, when we purchase the rights from Budelangi, the public health departments make sure that it is actually milled within Busia County. We have a miller. And so public health will go in there and take samples and test for aflatoxin. And if they find it, there's a time we had to put a whole consignment of rice because they said it had aflatoxin. Yeah, so that is we are particular. The nutritionists, again, when we are sending the rice to schools, they've given us the matrices, like what every child needs to consume per day. So we have all those from the nutrition department. So we take what is just needed maybe per child. So whatever goes to the schools is adequate for those children for the time that they need to feed. And we also have the health department providing them with vitamin A supplementation, and they do deworming in the schools. And now what we are saying is that we want those records now maintained within the school, so we can monitor a child and say, this child when they came here, and they also do the monitor growth. They have begun that, so that we want to see this school feeding program, what is the end result, are there improvements? And so safety and security, under that pillar, how is nurturing care in the school feeding program being achieved? So we are collaborating with other departments, yeah? Public health for inspection, of course, for safety of the food. And then the other people that are very heavily involved is the administrators on the ground. The public health, the county commissioner, the chiefs, everyone monitors the school feeding program. If there is a problem, they will call me and tell me, this is happening here. There is no food in this school. So with that, we realize that it's brought up, even all the pillars are together. And then, of course, the improvement in the status of when we buy this rice from the farmers, of course, they are getting money back. In fact, now what they do, the farmers hoard rice and ask me, are you buying rice for the school feeding? Because they were selling rice to Uganda at a throwaway price. A kg of paddy in Uganda goes for 30 shillings. That's what the Ugandans buy it for. Remember, they are buying this rice as paddy. So they are going away with even their husks. So they are taking more than they're even paying for. And that's why it goes to Uganda, but a lot of it goes to Uganda. The Ugandans now go, they mill, it comes back to Kenya, and it's sold back to us. Yeah, so this now, because the county government is buying it at 60 shillings per kilo, we're giving them a better offer. And now, of course, it is milled in the county. So they actually allow, their times they even come for the husks and say, let me take them to my chicken. So for early learning, at least that is what we do in our school. We give them adequate furniture, and our furniture again is made in the vocational training center. So adequate furniture from the VTC is given to them. We have ADU, partnered with ADU, digital learning is in our schools. Of course, all our teachers have been employed on a permanent scheme of service, they're permanent, all of them, and on the scheme of service that was rolled out. And so they are a bit comfortable. And so learning with disabilities, I would like Charlene to hear this, is that for us in Busia, we actually support the learners with disabilities. We may not be there, but anytime we are doing our budget to ensure that we have some support for them, we are also trying to come up with a way to modify our classes so that they can be able to access. And it's still very hard because right now we don't have teachers who are really, so what I've done is, what we've done as a department is that we are putting up a learning, we've converted a center. We want to put up a place for capacity building teachers on learning with disabilities, for how we can do that. And the last pillar, which is responsive caregiving, all our teachers, courtesy of UNICEF, who have now been, all of them, we trained them on nurturing care. 2 days, all teachers, and they were so excited, yeah? And I was saying, where has this thing been? So all our teachers right now are very sensitive. Now what they have done, they've gone back and now they are taking opportunities to talk to parents, to talk to teachers. You know, a teacher, I was a teacher and I'm a kindergarten teacher, for that, that's where I began. And so I know that as a teacher, I taught a child, the firstborn, I taught the secondborn, because I developed a relationship with the parent. Because when they come, you ask them, so hey, there's another baby coming, so we'll talk about the baby. And another baby becomes your baby. And so teachers have a powerful way of even talking about nurturing care to the parents. So we've trained all of them, so to help the called promoters on that. We've also, courtesy of UNICEF, we had a campaign called Kuwakocha, where we brought back all community involvement, CHVs, county government, national government, child protection, children's society. And we trained them. So there were 25 TOTs who were trained. and then from there we ended up training other trainers. So we had 1 week, like 2 months, we were running on all radio stations within the county. I was there. If I'm not there today, Director, thank you, Director Barasa, he's there. The next day we are saying, who from Condition can go? They are there. We called the county commissioner, can you give us someone? So it was like a concerted effort to talk about nurturing care within the county. And so with that, I think as a county, we really want to appreciate what we are doing, but we really want to just ask that this is the way to go. And as I said, the Chief Whip of Education Pillar, we are saying we are leaving no one behind, no child behind matters nurturing care framework. Thank you very much.
Community health promoters. So I'm sitting next to the CEO Health in Homa Bay. CHPs in nurturing care.
Thank you, Dr. And allow me to appreciate our partners and the LREP leadership for supporting our children to live and thrive to their full potential for the first 1,000 days. For sure, this program has supported counties so much, and it has really helped us to nurture our children so well. So for the Department of Health, we've integrated all the 5 pillars for nurturing care, and one of them, under good health, we've ensured that all our mothers attend antenatal clinic visits. They also have safe deliveries at maternity, and also follow them through postnatally. So how have we done this? We have empowered our community health promoters to be able to identify pregnant mothers at household level during their home visitation, and then refer them to the nearest health facility to initiate antenatal care clinics early, so that they're able to get the antenatal profiles and all the examination and investigations done to the pregnant mothers. Our CHPs are also able to take pressure, check the blood sugars at home, and also refer at-risk mothers to the health facilities for early intervention. And then at the maternity, we've also empowered our healthcare workers to be able to take care of our mothers and ensure that they have safe delivery. 97 days of zero maternal death. And this is because of this strategy that we put, because of the strengthening of the community units, and also the referral system from the community to our health facilities, and also be able to follow these mothers post-natally and ensure that no child loses their life after birth. Again, for nutrition, our community health promoters have also been empowered to be able to take weight and also check the mark and to refer these mothers and children to the health facility for nutrition assessment support in case they need any nutrition support for those who are already malnourished. We've also not just left it at that. We've also empowered our mothers economically so that they're also able to have kitchen gardens at home, that they're able to get fresh food from this garden and also help them help support them nutrition wise. So for responsive caregiving, we've also trained our caregivers to be able to respond to the needs of their children. For example, the children who've been given birth to prematurely, we've trained and supported our mothers to be able to offer kangaroo care service for the premature babies, and also be able to express breast milk for these children so that they also still get breast milk because they are not able to suck from the breast due to the prematurity for these babies. Again, for safety and security of our children, as a health department, we've ensured that our children also grow in safe spaces, and also provided the child-friendly environment both at our maternal child health clinics and also in the outpatient department and in the pediatric wards. So we have child-friendly centers. We have homemade play materials that we are able to provide for caregivers and for children to play as they were to be seen by our nurses and also by our doctors. and then opportunity for early learning, for early childhood. We've also ensured that our CHPs have been well empowered, well trained, to be able also to train the caregivers to be able to play with these children and stimulate. Even for men, as we talk even about male involvement, we also want men to be speaking to the children as they are still growing in the womb. So they're able to stimulate the pregnant mothers to ensure that they start this early and also avoid issues of gender-based violence when the mothers are pregnant or even after delivery, because our children must grow in a very safe environment for them to thrive well. So one thing that we have done as counties, and what we really need to do, when we have good political will and the buy-in from the top leadership, this one makes things run smoothly for us as counties. And for Homa Bay County, I really want to thank Her Excellency the Governor of Homa Bay, Honorable Gladys Nyasuna, for taking this initiative and ensuring that health indicators currently are on the right trajectory. And that is what we really want as counties. So when the top leadership is in this, through the multi-sectoral approach, we have all the departments involved. And this one means that we can be able to lobby for budgets for nurturing care in all the departmental budgets, in our CIDPs, in our ADPs, so that we support nurturing care for early childhood development. So some of the best practices that we would really want our partners or our counties to copy from Homa Bay County. Number one is the involvement of leadership. I'm glad that this was done at the initial phase and the county top leadership was involved. And that is why the implementation has been smooth and has been really doing well for us as Homa Bay County. Then number two is having the multi-sectoral teams from the sub-county level to the county level, where all the departments come together, learn from each other, share their data, and see how best they need to move forward in terms of nurturing care for early childhood development. Then the third good best practice is issues of integration of nurturing care in our legal frameworks. As Homa Bay County, we recently launched our child welfare and protection policy. And in this policy, issues nurturing care were well covered in this document. So once we have nurturing care captured in our legal frameworks, it gives us easy time in its implementation. We also had it well captured in our RAMCA policy that we are almost launching as Homa Bay County. Then the third issue is on issue of resource mobilization. I know most of the counties like Homa Bay County are a county of endless potential, but with limited resources. We've been able to work with our partners to support implementation of nurturing care in these various counties. And that is why the implementation for sure is working well for us. So issues of in-school and out-of-school mentorship programs, this one is also doing very well in Homa Bay County, where we also identify teen moms, teen fathers, put them in different groups during a breakaway sessions and discuss issues on nurturing care. So this is integrated outreaches for our teen moms and our teen dads. So the last thing is on the issue of having an integrated M&E tool. We have developed an integrated monitoring and evaluation tool where we have geospatial indicators for our pregnant mothers. And this tool is being used by our community health promoters. So at a glance, we can tell you that we have this number of pregnant mothers in this region. We have this number of pregnant mothers that are expected to deliver in a given month in this health facility. And this tool is going to help us for sure to follow through all the indicators of nurturing care from conception to delivery and 3 years postnatally. And it is being done by our CNPs supported by our health care workers. So lastly is having the issues of breastfeeding parlors in our modern markets. So that even mothers who are in these markets, mothers who are doing businesses, cannot leave their children at home to other caregivers, but they come to their children because they have a place where they can go and breastfeed their children. Otherwise, thank you and thank you so much.
That is Homa Bay County, Kakamega, Secretary. Thank you very much. To our honorable members, Your Excellencies, my name is Dr. Wandei Stephen, Director of Medical Services, Kakamega County. And as a county, we are learning very fast from our neighbors, Siaya County, in the implementation of nurturing care for early childhood development. We did a baseline assessment last year, and some findings were really interesting, that even healthcare workers weren't sure what nurturing care was, and yet it is something they do every day. So I really want to thank our leaders, LREP and the partners, for bringing this to the table so that everybody sitting here has an understanding of what nurturing care is. Nurturing care basically means giving our children in the first 1,000 days the best, so that builds the future of this country. A lot has been said from the other counties, from the community engagement to the MST formation. Allow me to just share 2 innovations in Kakamega. We have a program we call Baraza Care, Imarisha Afya ya Mama na Mtoto. This program is a flagship program by His Excellency the Governor, and the aim is actually to improve our maternal and child health indicators. So the CHPs will map the pregnant mothers from the community, and they'll be encouraged to attend their clinics. At every point of attending this clinic, they qualify for a small stipend. Kakamega is a pressure is also high, and you realize that there's usually the decision to work to get something to feed the family. So this program allows them, when they come, they qualify for a stipend clinics. When they live at the hospital in a facility under skilled assistance, they also qualify for a stipend. When they bring their children for immunization, they also qualify for that stipend. And the child is followed up and supported to also register so that they have their birth certificates registered for them. That basically helps us to address the nurturing care journey in the county, so that the mother is supported from conception all the way to delivery, and they're followed up beyond the 3 years. Now, we have a big challenge in Kakamega County, and I know teen pregnancies. And most of the teen mothers are usually stressed by the pregnancy first, long before even the baby comes. So it's actually a double challenge for them. Our First Lady, Her Excellency Professor Janet Baraza, teen mothers within Kakamega County through the journey of the pregnancy until they deliver, and they are supported if they are willing to go back to school or to attend tertiary institutions. And we have also pulled in a gender transformative wing to it, so that we bring the community to understand the teenagers, because usually the family will not understand a 16-year-old who comes home that she's pregnant. The father will not, the mother may not, the brothers and sisters will not. This program is pulling them together to understand that this child still has a future. This young girl is going to be a mother. That child who is going to be born also has a future. And they are supported through a gender-specific thought, through male engagement in meetings within the community. They are managed for free within our facilities, so that they are then motivated to visit the clinics, deliver in the hospitals, and after that, they're able to take back, whether they were in school or they were in a tertiary institution, they're able to take back their roles in the society. Allow me to conclude by saying that all this depends on budgeting. As a county, we realize that it's difficult to draw straight line budget, calling it nurturing care. So we have integrated these interventions within existing programs, so that when you're talking to the director of ECD, you're talking to the director of health, you're talking to the director of agriculture, talking to the director of water, for instance, you do not introduce a new thought that then takes them time to internalize. You integrate within the programs they're already implementing, and just make them know that this is going a long way to support the caregiver and the baby, so that they survive through their 1,000 days and they become thriving Kenyans in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Daktari. Finally, we have Child Fund, who is our senior most partner after KMET. And now that we have had all of us talking, and you are the one talking last, what recommendations can you pose forward as we talk nurturing care? Bwana Adega.
Thank you so much. All protocols observed. I think in partnership with Conrad Hilton, as well as Emory University in the US. Child Fund has been implementing natural care program for a number of years, especially in the Nyanza region, and the current one is implemented in Homa Bay and Busia counties. The evaluation that was conducted used a mixed method approach, combining a control trial, a randomized control trial for the impact evaluation, as well as the qualitative evaluation process. The specific questions that the evaluation looked at involved assessing effectiveness of the Child Fund program for improving early child development and caregiving outcomes. And the second one looked at how effective Child Fund programs implementation were, and of course also trying to identify which factors influence the quality and effectiveness. Just to give a summary, the impact evaluation enrolled 642 primary caregivers and their children that were aged between 0 to 24 months across 64 villages in Ndiwa sub-county, that is Homa Bay, and of course Bunyala sub-county in Busia county. Half of the villages were assigned either intervention or either an intervention group or a wait list for control purposes. These were done at the baseline and of course at the end line. And the process involved in-depth interviews with about 58 respondents. That included group facilitators, mentors, caregivers, and of course focus group discussions with multi-sectoral teams that most of my colleagues have talked about. These were meant to examine program implementation, to understand the underlying factors influencing program delivery, and of course the quality. The quantitative measures included early learning, responsive caregiving, that measured through caregiver stimulation, caregiving home environment. The second one looked at child safety and security, and this was measured through positive discipline, harsh discipline practices, as well as birth registration. And the third one looked at psychosocial well-being, that was measured by looking or assessing parenting stress, depressive symptoms, social support, and of course the financial worries that I think most of us are currently going through. The fourth one looked at the male caregiver involvement, stimulation, and household chores. And I know my brother from Arts Nyanza looked at that in terms of the male involvement. The fifth one looked at the nutrition, which most of the speakers have talked about, and this was measured through dietary diversity as well as minimum dietary diversity scores. And then the final one looked at the health, that measured illnesses and caregiver seeking behaviors. The qualitative approaches that were used include or assessed the program fidelity, the program satisfaction, perceived effectiveness, and of course the recommendations. These are the key findings. The first, on the ECD outcomes, confirmed or found out that the program did not yield significant improvements in ECD outcomes as measured by the global scales for early development, that is GSET for those in the ECD work. And then the next one also looked at the caregiver reported early development instruments, that is CREDI, And both of these interventions and control groups more or less showed similar progress over a 1-year period. The second one was the parenting practices. The program was found to have led to moderate to large improvements in caregiver stimulation practices and several indicators of the home observation for measurement of the environment. Environment inventory, including overall scores and selected domains. However, there was no significant changes in the home responsiveness, acceptance, and variety scales. The third one looked at the discipline practices, and this found out that there was significant reduction in harsh discipline practices, which were observed among primary caregivers, with lower odds of using violent discipline or physical punishment and psychological aggression in the intervention group compared to the control group. The fourth one on health and nutrition confirmed or found out that the program improved dietary diversity and appropriate caregiving or care-seeking practices for child illnesses. However, we didn't find significant impact on household food insecurity or financial security, which I think is common. The next one looked at caregiver mental health, and it was found that the program led to small but significant reduction in depressive symptoms among primary caregivers. However, it was also found that there were no significant changes, especially in the parenting stress, financial worries, or perceived social support. The qualitative evaluation process looked at the program implementation, and it confirmed that the program was implemented with very high fidelity, leveraging a cascading supervision model. Group facilitators and mentors received multiple training sessions and ongoing support. However, some challenges were also observed that included inconsistent access to mental health counseling and limited participation of male caregivers. I know that remains a challenge across board, and I believe that that's something that we'll need to take home. The research confirmed that caregivers reported learning about a wide range of topics, including nutrition, health, play, communication, discipline, and WASH. And they really appreciated the relevance of the sessions and the quality of the group facilitation. The third one looked at the barriers and facilitators. And key barriers that were identified included economic strengthening considerations, competing responsibilities, and environmental disruptions, such as the flooding that took place in Busia and of course parts of Homa Bay County, that really affected most of the parenting sessions that were being conducted. Facilitators included caregivers' desire to learn, prior relevant experience among delivery agents, and the quality of program materials. All these are found to be very effective. On the psychosocial well-being, on the program impact, the qualitative improvements were consistently reported in nurturing care practices, family relationships, and caregiver mental health. However, financial constraints remained a significant challenge, and this was found to limit the full implementation of the recommended practices. In terms of implication for programming and conclusion, it was found that child parenting program demonstrated positive impacts on parenting practices and other nurturing care outcomes, despite the challenges related to economic constraints and of course heavy flooding. The impact on ECD outcomes, however, were negative, and the evaluation provides several insights to guide future improvements. Maybe in summary, what I can say is that Child Fund has been implementing nurturing care programs Turkana with us here. One thing that has come out very clearly is the need to have male involvement. I mean, from the very, very onset, from the program design all the way in doing the implementation, evaluation, and all the way. And then there is also the economic strengthening bit that was also found to really be wanting. I think for us to succeed, we really need to look at the element of economic strengthening, especially how parents and caregivers can be supported to look at both caregiving as well as strengthening the economic hardships aspects. And then the third one, I think, is there also the mental health and psychosocial support that also has been, been talked about. That has been found to be very, very key. I know Charlene mentioned about the need for disability inclusion. That was also an outcome that initially we did not really design the program to look at that, but when we were implementing the program, that was a core element that was also identified by even our donor, the Conrad Hilton. I remember in one of the intervention areas in Ndiwa, I hope I'm still within my 4 minutes, we found a mother who had given birth to a child who was disabled, or physically disabled, and the mother was so depressed that she could not even be able to accept the child. So it took the effort of the father and the grandmother to nurture the child until the mother was able to accept the child and even start breastfeeding. So I think sometimes when we talk about male involvement, I think we need to look at it from all the various aspects. And in that example, you can see that 1 month is really needed for men to have that break to take care of the children. And then I think finally for Child Fund, we took a deliberate effort or a decision to implement this program within a period of 1 year. And so when the evaluation was done, it's clear that must have been a gap. We must have been very ambitious to think that we would be able to achieve, especially learning outcomes within 1 year. So moving forward, that's one area that we're going to look at to ensure that our designs and the interventions really incorporate most of these key outcomes that have come out from the research, as well as all the points that have been mentioned from all of us. I really thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, James. Ladies and gentlemen, I will apologize on behalf of everybody that we have eaten into your lunch, but allow us to end our session at that point and hand over the microphone to Waziri Homabay. But I request the panelists to stay on, because Waziri, in case there is a very serious lunchtime question from the plenary, you may proceed.
Thank you, Dr. and panelists. Can you give our panel? We have our county government clap, and I would like you to adopt it now. When I say Mil Polo, you simply clap once. Mil Polo. You're almost there, but you have not gotten it right. We want to clap for the panelists. Mil Polo. Good. Now, allow me to ask if there's anyone with a comment, or question. And I would like us to have, if you know you will have something to say, only 3 people. Let us see gender balance. I can only see men's hand. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, and because you are there 4. This side now 5. Well, 30 seconds each. Please come forward. You can take the mic. Okay. 30 seconds each.
Thank you very much. By name, I'm Joseph Yongo, Special Needs Coordinator and Disability, Homabay County, the Department of Education. So the session for today is a lively one, and it is very much fundamental, because investing in early years is very important, because that is the foundation of every successful life. My concern very quickly is on early identification. As much as we emphasize on early years programs, we should also think about early identification of learners with disability, because disability comes in two ways, either congenital or acquired. We have learners who are born with disability and their life is ruined because there is no proper intervention at the onset. And therefore, in Homa Bay County, I can proudly say that we have such intervention. And I emphasize that the LREP, the 14 counties, we should emulate that and emphasize on early identification and
Thank you, Banayongo. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pressed of time because the main guest of the day has already arrived. He's in the compound, and some of us are required to be at the main tent where he will be addressing us. With that, Toby, just stand where you are. Our keynote speakers are also stressed of time. They are also expected to take front seats, and it is bad manners for them to go there while the guest of honor is seated. With that, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to read to you the communique, but with your permission, I will only read action to call to action because of time, and then once I'm done, I will request our keynote speakers to append their signatures on this so that we can forward it to the Council of Governors. Now, all the discussion that we have had is well captured here in good grammar. There's preamble, there is the main presentation as was done by each one of us here, but that I will not go to. I will want to run to the summary of all of it, call to action. In light of the discussions and guided by our constitutional responsibilities and shared commitment to our children's well-being, we reaffirm our commitment to allocate and safeguard adequate financial resources for early child development, to ensure these allocations are integrated within county budget plans, and to invest in continuous training and capacity building of county staff across all relevant departments to effectively implement and sustain nurturing care for early childhood development initiatives. We commit to institutionalizing multi-sectoral collaboration across all relevant county departments, collaborating with national government representatives and county level partners and religious leaders to deliver coordinated and inclusive nurturing care for early childhood development services. We call for the review, development and implementation of enabling policy frameworks that are multi-sectoral, evidence-based, context-specific, and align with the realities of implementation to ensure sustainability and avoid fragmentation. We commit to deepen community engagement and ownership from the household level to the village level, ward level, sub-county and county level, including both men and women, religious leaders, traditional community leaders, and grassroots actors, to enhance awareness, behavior change, and community-led monitoring of nurturing care for early childhood development programs. So we call upon the Council of Governors to actively engage the national government to amplify the nurturing care for early childhood development agenda, positioning it as national priority and a shared development target across all levels of government. To document best practices from the Lake Region Economic Bloc and create structured platform for learning and replication, facilitating scale-up across counties through inter-county dialogue, knowledge exchange forums, and national level policy influence. I therefore want to call upon the keynote speakers to append their signature. And may I ask our team to bring the table just in front of the chair of First Lady's post. Okay, please. Just put it there. They were accepted to come. They were accepted to come. Meanwhile, where's our cameraman? Please come and take a photo with the panelists.
Come. We are not living here if you don't take a picture of us as your panelists for the day.
Is the MC, Doctor, is the MC also allowed to take the photo? After, okay. Okay, well guided. Thank you, panelists. You have done a good job. I know time was not enough, but we are happy. Okay, smile, say Homa Bay. Homa Bay. Homa Bay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. That's great.
Now the MC can join us.
Okay. Once we are done with the photo, we'll give some gifts.
Siaya.
We are done with that. Thank you so much, team. But before you leave, allow us to gift you for your concerted effort, especially during this session, and for supporting the side event for it to be a success. Thank you so much. So we can each hold a bag, and I would request the photojournalist to also take yet another photo with the bag. Thank you. As we take photos, allow me to also pass a vote of thanks in the process because we are pressed on time. And also allow me to announce that we are still continuing with this conversation in the next session in Tent 8, organized by the ECD network. But also allow me to say that we are continuing that very conversation during the Siaya Investment Conference. So we would expect all the partners who have exhibited what they're doing here today to be with us at the Siaya Investment Conference, which is coming soon in September from 24th to the 27th. So you're all welcome to continue with this conversation. Thank you so much, team. And then before we leave, we would like to request the CEO, Charlene Ruto, a photo session for a few of us as we let the others take their spaces, take their seats. Thank you so much, team, for coming. But